Bartail has been one of the persons who's watched all the shows. I talk to him on a regular basis in the EverQuest Next IRC channel.
What we saw with, Kunark for EQ2, you did those 400 quests, you did all the content. At the end of it, the world wasn't changed.
Yeah, I'm Phantom X. I do social media and write articles for EQ Nexus.
For the Fall of Bastion,
All right. Well, you can't trust that Talon guy to do anything. I just screwed up the opening video. Woo!
Good job.
It's an EverQuest or EverCast show. Hi everybody. Good evening. I'm one of your hosts, Tanlin. With me are two of our normal co-hosts. I'll go ahead and let them introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Kai.
I'm Vladis.
And with us tonight, since Chad had to miss tonight's episode, so at the last very minute, we invited Tobrin to join us. So say hi, Tobrin.
Hi, I'm Tobran.
And look, twinsies. Same headset, same shirt.
Headset, shirt. Oh,
Shirt.
They did not plan it. It's
They
just
swear they didn't plan it. I think they're lying.
We don't plan. Our souls are
bros.
One, okay?
It is. We're pretty much connected on a soul level. It's great. People be jealous, everybody out there in the internet.
Right. So we did have a different topic planned for tonight. Chwayne, like I said, he had some health issues rise with his girlfriend, fiance, so he stayed home with her. So we shifted it, and we're going to just do this like an all the things episode where we talk about everything that's gone on for the last 2 weeks. And the good thing is there's actually quite a bit of news coming coming out from SOE about the future of Landmark and SOE. Before we do that though, a little like, what have you been up to? If you've been following Kylust on Twitter, our dog injured himself pretty severely. He's got stitches on his paw, and so we thought that it would be cruel to throw the dog and put him out in the garage, which we normally do. So if you see them and if they make noise, apologies again. This is real life and these things happen. So
My poor gimpy puppy.
Poor puppy.
yeah.
Yeah, it's actually pretty bad.
Yeah, I saw the picture. It was pretty gnarly. Yeah.
I didn't see the pictures.
Oh my God.
He stepped on a piece of broken glass and cut his paw the way down to bone. Poor baby.
Yeah, it was pretty haggard. It was not looking too good.
All right. So the SOE, the Landmark Live and the workshops, they finally wrapped up their Dark Elves style guide. They've finished it up, and there was a vote, and the poor dwarves, they lost again to the Karen this time.
Get wrecked.
You know what? I really genuinely hope that Miss Lovely, Wonderful Linda Carlson / Breast goes on an absolute ranting, raving tirade, because damn it, really, Karen, are you kidding me?
Here's the thing, though.
The Chester Cheetah of the EverQuest world, could we please just have beautiful dwarves? Because dwarves, damn it.
That was one of the votes that I didn't take part in, because really, I don't really have.
It was so close. Your vote would have been. You could have been the one vote.
Hey! Beforehand, and the reason why, like, I wanted to vote for dwarf, but back when it was the Dark Elves versus the dwarf, I put my vote out there. I'm like, in Vanguard, the game that I came from, right? The gnomes were at war with the dwarves. The dwarves did not get along, and ever since then, I'm like, dwarves, and I don't want to go too much like all about the dwarves. Even though they're probably like my number 2 or number 3 race, but I don't know. Just let it play out on its own so that I can stand back and see. how it all plans out. But anyway, going on to the Dark Elves though, there was some fantastic builds coming out of the Dark Elf workshop with the revisions to the style sheet and everything. What are you guys' take? What did you see that you liked? Anything that you didn't like? Because of course we kind of build off of that negative feedback a little bit better than we do the, oh, that's awesome, I love it.
I'm really glad.
No, go ahead.
Tobin first. You're our
Okay.
guest.
Maybe it's just because I'm awesome, but I love the face. It's me. You all love me, don't you?
Wow.
Anyway,
Don't forget that you have a dragon hanging in the balance.
oh yeah, I forgot about that. Love you.
Keep your ego in your pants, buddy. Let's.
Wow, where are you thinking my ego was going?
Where
Oh.
he
I
wants
like you as a
it to
friend,
go,
but
from
let's
what
be
I
real.
understand.
Jeez. Let's
Anyway,
maybe that. Let's go on that on after show, maybe.
after show, why Tobin is awesome. I like it.
No,
So-
jeez.
Yeah, you're feeding the ego. I love the whole Asian style build because it's so different from the underground dark stuff that we had before. Right, I'm funny, but I'm not that funny. Calm down. Wow. Okay.
No, and that's actually a really good point. That going from the Dark Elves dark subterranean builds to the Karen, which are definitely open air,
More above ground. Yeah.
ground, it would probably be better to see that, like the comparison, rather than go from a subterranean race to the dwarves, which is another subterranean or mostly subterranean race.
Exactly. That's the reason I didn't vote dwarves. I mean, I love dwarves. I don't have anything against them, but Karen would give us a more open feel and probably give us access to a lot more different props, styles. It'd be interesting to see.
I could see that. Yeah, I could see that because we don't have like huts and stuff yet, and I would think that the cats would be more jungle-esque in that sense. So we don't really have that type of stuff. We don't have like giant tusks, maybe, and stuff like that. I guess you would kind of look at that. I could see where that going. I was made an honorary dwarf, so I can't.
I did see that.
So I'm just saying.
Yeah, and I think that going from the Dark Elves to the Karens also allows us to be able to go and be like, these are the props that we need. It gives us a more diversified prop base to work on. I think I said plot earlier, but I meant to say prop. When they're prioritizing what sort of props they're going to work on, and when they know that these are we're working on the Karens right now. Okay, so when people say like these are the types of props I want to see for this style guide, it increases their place on the priority list. You would assume, basically, give us these props, and that would look, things that would look good in like that Asian sort of space and that above ground open sort of space, jungle, I think. So tell me a little bit about the Karens. Are they jungle in other EverQuest lore?
I have no idea.
What?
Says the guy wearing the EverQuest t-shirt.
Yeah. What is your point? Fight me 1v1. Bring it.
I would so own you.
Then bring it on. I'm here
In your
always.
game. Come on.
Oh, that was
Counter Strike,
fantastic. He would be careful, man. Be careful.
StarCraft 2, bring it. World of Warcraft, I'll pwn your Noob Alliance ass. Is there something else? I mean,
Those are all Blizzard games. Do you play anything else?
well, clearly you don't know EverQuest.
So? Let's do
Yeah.
Side. There's one.
Oh.
Counter Strike.
Oh, jeez.
This is so off topic. I don't even
It
care.
is so way off.
Because all I can do in the Vanguard world, the cat people are the Rakash or the Rakasha or something like that, and they live out in the desert, but they're actually dimensional outcasts that were cast out of their own dimension and now find themselves on Talon. I know those cats. I don't know these cats, and I'm not speaking jive.
Earlier today, Chewie was like, "Hey guys, I'm sorry, I can't make it. taking care of the lady, and I was like, all right, no problem, I got this. I'll invite Toves. And best idea ever.
I know you like those, so
It is. I remember. All right, so I had to get a little refresher. The Karens are they were an extremely aggressive race by nature, and they spent much of their history divided into feral clans, mired in bloody civil war. Karen culture took a dramatic turn when the elves of Norath arrived on their homeworld of Shadowland. I could be saying that wrong. The elves set about civilizing the feral Karens and formed strong relationships with several of the greatest clans, though many refused to abandon their feral lifestyle.
Okay. And even from the EverQuest Next lore that we've seen so far, like they're not mentioned much at all. So we kind of have like the only, and I'm going to bring up the picture here in a minute. The real only feel that we get for the Kara, or the Karen for EverQuest Next is what they've shown us so far. So let's go and take a look at that picture, because I mean, without knowing any of the other lore, you just look at the picture and you're like, oh, hey, that looks rather Asian, or well, kind of like the Jabba's hut on. Jabba's hut from Return of the
Jabba's
Jedi.
Palace.
Is it? Oh yeah, Jabba's hut.
Jabba
the Hut.
I just failed my Star Wars. Whoops. All right. Well, so we look at that, and it definitely has kind of a pagoda appearance. Not like it's more like pagoda inspired.
Totally looks like Jabba's Palace. It has that feel to it.
It does, yeah.
yeah.
But it's definitely, you can tell it's definitely like pagoda Asian influence art style. The flared roofs and the tiered flared roofs coming out and up to the point, and that should allow some people to do some crazy things. And you can actually see like over to the left and to the far right, there's these pillars that look like, and they have like these fire lanterns coming out of them and stuff. So
Right.
that should be
And what
should be kind of cool.
Is what I look at that. I look at that teaser that they put out, and I'm like, man, those look like some complicated shapes. I don't know if Landmark are really going to be able to do this concept art justice. And then I look at what people came up with for the Dark Elves concepts, just through their style sheets, and I'm like, oh, what am I thinking? The voxelmancers, the people who know how to do this stuff, they're going to be able to do some really impressive designs with that. Now, speaking of this Karen in this art, this is just like black and white or blue and white. Do we have? I mean, what sort of colors do you think is going to be earth tones, or do you think that they're going to have like the really bright colors that like the reds and greens and?
I guess it would really depend on how civilized these Karens are. Are these pagodas shaped out of mud huts, or these pagodas are more advanced and it's like gold trimming and red roofs and in bright greens and blues, and it's like very, very colorful. Like they've gone past the point of we were feral, now we're more civilized, and it seems like they should be civilized because we're all coming back over in one group.
Right, from the combine races.
Yeah, so you would think it's a little more civilized. So I would like to see maybe a mixture of both, maybe some outlying, because maybe like we start to think like, all right, Dark Elves all have the same art style, but then with the Karen, people can get really creative and treat it as they're still feral Karen, and they're these more civilized Karen.
That would be really cool.
So, and like listen, internet, if I just gave you the big key here, there still could be feral Karen out there. So you maybe want to think like, all right, I can still make the mud hut with the tusks and still do the cool pagoda style building. Because now you have not just, all right, all the Dark Elves, spiked roofs, purple, red, and dark menacing looking towers. Now you have the option. It's like, okay, mine are more the feral that still live or are hidden, out in the jungle someplace that weren't part of the Combine. Or you have the ones that were with the Combine, and you have the pagoda style buildings. So.
Right, and that's a really good, like, if you could take the landmark, the concept that the art that we've been given and regress it, right? Like, so that this is your civilized Karen and what they build, and then regress that for like what the wild Karens build, because because it's more more simply built, less big colors. That actually sounds like a really cool idea.
Where the wild Karens are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rah.
If I knew
Rawr.
any of
I love that the three of them all almost in unison did the little and then roar.
I was about to start the
Horrible.
wild rumpus. I was about to start the wild rumpus.
start a wild rumpus up here.
Yeah! I was that little kid growing up.
He wasn't the kid.
I was that. Oh, what is going on in chat?
I don't know.
I
It's
gave up a long
weird.
time ago.
Oh my jeez.
Kai, how could you? What did I do? What did I do?
I don't know what's going
We
on.
made the pun.
Jake, she makes puns. Yes.
I punned?
Yeah, you're very funny.
When did I
Puns.
when
No.
did I pun? I didn't pun. Did I pun?
I don't know.
No, I don't think. I think you just made a reference. I don't. I think. I have no idea. You
Oh.
know what? Go to bed,
Wait a
chat.
while.
Give
Go
up,
home,
guys.
chat, you're drunk.
Go home, chat. You're all drunk.
Oh, don't tell them to go home. Just
No, stay here. No, wait, stay here. Keep drinking. When we're done, then you can go home. Just don't
Stop
drive.
drinking.
If you're just anyway. But with the Karen, I think it's gonna be really cool. I would be, like I said, I would be really interested to see, what people can do with those pagodas and like it just connecting the buildings and putting up like walls and stuff like that. And like I said, I think a good mix between feral and civilized would be kind of a cool idea. I just don't want to see people building pagodas all over the place and just be like, oh, look at all these pagodas.
right. That's actually another good point. Is like we don't want to see if you can create the photos of the Forbidden City. It's the Forbidden City in Beijing, right?
Yeah.
Or recreate we don't want to see your recreation of the Great Wall in China. That's great that if you can do it, but let's see if we can inspire a little bit more of a fantasy race that is inspired by those types of shapes, not those not that period of history.
Yeah. You're gonna have to do a kind of a good mix, like somehow keep it like that pagoda-esque. Like maybe the arching things coming out of the pagoda roof, instead of it being wood and stylized, it's tusks coming out instead. Like I'm just feeding the internet all these ideas. You take them and run with them, and then when you sell them on the player studio, cut me in. But that'd be kind of neat. I would like that. I would like to see, and what I haven't seen yet, maybe, and I just haven't looked, but I haven't seen a whole lot of pagodas out there. I've seen some. Some people have done Asian.
Oh my goodness!
art.
There's one from, I think it was a pagoda from Alpha that was like the White Temple or something like that, and that thing was just absolutely amazing. And
it was.
And I hope that the person that did that takes a little bit of the techniques that they learned and really inspires and teaches other people so that we can get this built. With that sort of attention to detail. It was amazing.
Yeah, that would be legendary said it right. The Karen kind of feels like eastern roofs and western walls. It kind of does. It's kind of like a mixture between the both. Like I said, it'd be really nice to see a mixture between, like I said, feral and civilized. So that would be my idea. But I would also like to see, I haven't seen a round, someone build a round, not a round building, but more like a round, I don't want to say round, but cylinder shaped pagoda. I would like to see that instead of just everything be square. Start to break out and make some shapes. Let's make a cylinder. Let's go crazy with it.
Circles are hard.
They're really hard. I've been trying so hard, but they're so hard. Kai, why'd you time me out? Please. So I just saw it pop up Tobren has been timed out. Why?
Because you said bring it, noob.
Yeah. Bring it, noob.
Oh,
And now he's giving me the big pouty face.
I give you the big. Of course I do. That's what I do.
There's a cylinder one on the screenshot. See, it was very hard. See, I want someone to take that challenge though, because I think that's going to be one of the guys that.
Right, and that's the thing is I don't ever want people to be in Landmark. I don't ever want them to see a picture or develop a picture in their head and just be inspired by something and then go to try and build it in Landmark and just be like, it's not that I can't draw it, it's that I can't build it in Landmark because the tools are too hard to use. I think that's one of the things that they're trying to address and getting the community to help one another to share techniques, to build those tutorial videos and all of that. And I embrace all of that. It's there's no there's no reason to like bogart the spotlight and build stuff that
Yep.
only you can build, because this is still like going, the inspiration for the Kara and all the stuff that we're doing for the Kara is so that we can bring it into EverQuest next, and we want to see the best in there. We don't want to see like, oh well, we could have had better if people were more willing to share. I don't think that's really the problem, or going to be a problem. Sorry.
Look at that. Coda actually just linked a Ramp Pagoda.
Oh, sweet.
That looks really hard to do.
So
I
now
want
I
to
have
do
to
it
go.
though.
I must go look at things. Ah!
Yeah. Whoops. Damn it.
It all loaded at once.
I just screwed that up.
Wow.
I have to change the page there and then go over to it there. And now we can take another look at the carrot architecture and not let Tanlin screw things up again. So yeah, they need to show more of the concept from the style guide to us, because it's really hard to tell if those are circles or not, because it could kind of go either way without any depth in the picture.
I have a really hard time with round things in Landmark.
Which, you know what? Not to say
Shut up,
anything.
all three.
No. I was.
You all.
Lies and slander.
My point was legitimate. I was gonna say, it's funny. Like as much as Landmark builds itself as like you can build anything, and doesn't have to be square. Like square things, like angles or like like curved things are okay, but when it comes to like cylinders, that's rough. Like people are having a rough time with it. They're like, I can't do cylinders. Get cylinders
possible.
right.
It's just the way the voxels work. They just make it really hard, because you can make a circle, but then when you try to paint it or something, it doesn't like really odd lines, or you try to put a prop in, it doesn't quite fit, or whatever. It's just difficult.
And you would think, like, since since you can make the giant sphere, right, and you can make the square, you'd think they would have a cylinder tool, because that would kind of make it a little easier.
That was one of the things. Like if you take the sphere and make a sphere and make it, and if you can get a hollow sphere, right, and then just take one slice of it and then stack that on top of each other, right? That's one way to do it. The other way is to sit down with a piece of graph paper and make your circle, and then find where you need to put your voxels, put that first row down and stack them up, and then smooth it. That's how I made my first round tower. And again, that's where, like, if people need to see those sort of techniques, then
Really?
then those YouTubers get out there. People want to see how to do this stuff. I know, right, Tobrin?
Yeah. What's up?
Is that really how you made your first tower, babe? You drew it out on graph paper?
No, I didn't actually go and look at it on graph paper. Somebody else had done a style guide and put it up on the internet, but it was basically a grid. It was, like go over 2, down 1, over 2, down 1, and then, basically smooth it all out so that you had a plot that was circular in shape, and then you copy it and stack all of your template on top of each other,
Yeah.
and then you smooth it, and when it's smooth, it turns into a cylinder.
Wow.
So the other, do we want to talk a little bit more about the architecture? Because the other reveal that they had from their the landmark, no, this was the workshop, was the new concept art we have of the actual Karens themselves. So do we want to? Is any last thoughts on the architecture before we shift gears into the races themselves?
The only thing that I was going to say at the very beginning of the episode was that I'm really glad that they didn't just bring up the color palette, like the pretty traditional color palette for Dark Elves of black, gray, red, purple. I'm really glad that those were not the only things put out there for the color palettes for them, because it'd be really nice to have not just those colors representing a particular, Dark Elf
And I think that's why they're holding off and not showing colors in the concept art they released. There's like, okay, we want to see what you want it to be and what everyone else thinks, and then combine that together, and then they create a color palette like they did with the Dark Elves, which I think is probably the best way to do it.
And see, that's why when we were talking about the Karen art, that's one of the first questions that came to my mind is like, is this an earth tone one where instead of being like, we see the wall and it's strictly white, okay, but is that like when you see it in its natural color or its recreated color, whatever you want to call it, is it going to be like a tan, stonish, like they stuccoed it, or is it going to be like a bright red where they went over that stucco and painted it? Because it definitely looks, like it's a smooth surface so they either, put stucco on the outside of it or some material like that to basically smooth the edges.
Yeah.
And my one really brief rant. Please, God, please, can we please stop putting everything that's red with gold, everything that is blue with gold?
Wait, what's that song?
If you look at red and silver and blue and gold, if you look at World of Warcraft, it's all red and silver, and Alliance is blue and gold. If you look at EverQuest, it's blue and gold. Look at any video game that uses blue, and gold is the accent with it. Can blue and silver?
Not necessarily. I've seen mainly shiny metals like silver and whatnot is used. They just complement each other really well.
You don't like gold.
Then use silver. It creates the same effect.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
All of the EverQuest t-shirts, they're blue and gold. I'd like one that was blue and silver.
All right. Well, so,
I'm going to shut up now.
Oh, you don't have to shut up. It's like, okay, do we have some points to make or are we ready to move on? And I agree. I think that if you want to see like we all know that on the color palette, there are certain colors that go well together. Experiment a little if you want to be bold with your colors.
I think I was gonna say real quick. I think it's a good time for people to experiment.
So next up, I just put up the screenshot we have of the concept art that they revealed about the Kara, and that's the different body shapes that they see. And there's what, 8 of them, and surprising to me is that not all of these are as stocky as the original Karen that we saw from the opening video from SOE Live last year. There are definitely some very sleek looking Karen in the concept art that they've shown us. What do you guys think? Looking over this new art that we have.
That's better than Chester Cheetah we saw last year. Not gonna lie, that is much better than the guy we saw last year. I granted he was like pre-alpha, show off. Here's what the game looks like, guy. But that right there, those just few drawings look so much better.
Where are these? Because I totally missed it.
Just a second, and I'll get it to you.
My
only complaint is that when you're looking at them, only 2 of them have like a distinct hairstyle, and I know they're cats, so they don't really have a hairstyle. But that's one of the most, easily recognizable, recognizable and customizable aspects of your characters, the hair, and only the 2 in the upper left actually have hair themselves. One of them has like a lion type mane, and the other one has a top knot.
Yep.
So
but remember, this is all conceptual of the body type, not
Absolutely,
necessarily the face type. So, I mean, I feel like we'll definitely get to that, but I feel now that you're focusing on the body, it should be bigger, smaller, etc., etc.
There's only one that I see that I really don't like, and that's the top row, the second one from the right, third from the left. His torso, not his torso, his waist. His waist just seems.
He's kind of like being stretched. It's like a little like taffy.
Right. And it's actually him and the one right next to him that actually look like their abdomen torso area might just be a little bit too tight. But I'm picking that guy on. I'm picking on him in particular simply because he's got huge broad shoulders. And of all of the different Karens that they've showed us, he's got the most narrow waist. He's like. Again, now you can see my mouse cursor, I think, maybe, but itty bitty tiny waist, huge broad shoulders, and of all of them, that's the one that like I just do not particularly care for that one right there.
Bottom row, second from the left, top row, first one on the left. Those are my favorites.
Not gonna lie, the one that Tamlin doesn't like, that neck muscle is as big as his head. I know it's concept art, but that dude's roiding up just right here. He's like, just right all up in here. That's where he's like, I work out, it's just this. Ugh. Urgh.
It's all the same kind of cat.
It all seems to be the same type.
It's all maybe like a tiger, panther, sort of like that kind of look. Yeah, that's what it all is.
If you look at the face, and it's not to nitpick or be disrespectful, because the art is good, but it's all the same type of cat. If you look at the face, it's the same shape, it's the same nose, the same mouth, it's the same features. It's just changed in size and
yeah,
one kind of kitty for an entire race.
I'm gonna regret saying this, but they all look the same to you, is what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
He's gonna go to hell. Yes, dear. The face of the kitty, they all look like one single kind of kitty. It looks like one brand of kitty.
Yeah, I can see it a little bit. I definitely say that the upper left and the upper right one, those look like very distinct. One looks more, like a different type of cat breed than the other. But I don't know if that's necessarily like, do they really look that different, or does it just look like one is squished and the other one is not squished?
Yeah. I don't know. I kind of see what she's talking about. I really do see that. They kind of, but then I'm just gonna take that as concept art. That this is just one panel for males, and it's not the final.
He just asked. It was a response. And do you see anything that you don't like? It was the only thing I saw that I could say I kind of don't like that. See, again, I'm just gonna shut up now.
Why am I a closet speciesist? What is it? What?
I think that was the joke I was trying to make about them all looking the same, because it's a closet species. But so what do you think about the tails?
Nice and fluffy.
Yeah, I mean, there's one. I only see like two variations. Pretty much they're all like this. I mean, I'm not gonna lie.
No. So the huge complaint from Vanguard is that they promised us tails for like some of the anthropomorphic races early in Vanguard. They're gonna cancel the game after 7 years, and they never gave them tails.
Oh, we'll get tails. We'll get tails.
I'm like, so look at those tails. Admire those tails. Aren't those tails awesome?
We'll get tails. We'll get so much tail. You don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about it. Our Gonians or the lizard people will have tails. Everybody will have a tail. This why did we bring it?
God, I'm gonna make up EverCast t-shirts, and they're gonna say "Got Tail" on the back.
Oh, that's perfect for Vegas, really.
Yeah, people are going to ask us which club we're representing. Like, hey, where can I go and see, where are you guys going? That sounds like a cool place.
Oh boy.
Keep calm and get tail.
Yeah. Oh boy. Alright, I will say this. I would like to see, I mean, I know it's just concept art, but I would like to see, I know it's way early, but as we progress, and hopefully we will at SOE Live, I would like to see more of like a 3D rendering of the Karen, besides the one we saw last year, like more design, maybe like a line-looking one with an actual mane. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, if I could get a Karen with a full lion mane, I'd probably rock that. I'd probably rock that character. Because I would roll around with a lion. It'd be awesome. Yeah! So, I mean...
I would really like to see, like...
There are pictures of me rocking, like, a mane, but that was...
So much hair.
That was
so black.
Many years ago.
Back when he dyed it, wore eyeliner. I'm gonna get in so much trouble, but I don't care.
No, that was Adam, the guest that we brought on. My Skype profile picture is actually me with the dyed black hair. And he's like, I didn't recognize that guy.
Oh man, this chat has got crazy. We just let them loose.
Yeah.
I am pretty sure somebody just
Don't
called
drink and
Vlad a
type.
furry.
Don't. I know. They just like all of a sudden they were like, Flatus is a secret furry. That is not true. That is not
Are
true.
you an out furry?
No, I'm not. I'm not a furry at all. Nothing against furries. That's not me. I generate so much heat as a person already that like my apartment stays really cold. So for me to wear a suit made of mostly like polymer, like cotton and polyester and stuff like that would never happen. That's way too hot.
You seem to have a very in-depth knowledge of this, though. Like,
Well, what else would it be made out of?
Breathable
what?
fabrics? I don't know.
Fur.
Lord Flatimus of Volibear? What is going on? What chat room? What is going on with you guys? Alright, listen. Tobes, do you have any like? What about you with the Karen? Are you satisfied with like? I know it's way early and that's concept art, but is there anything you'd want to see with the Karen? Is that your race? Is that not your race?
that's not my race. Everyone knows I'm human.
Human.
But I think my main
Human
complaint.
Ranger.
What
Yeah,
else?
exactly. Top remembered. My main thing is, like, it's not shown here, but it's different fur colors. Because there's hundreds of different types of cats out there. You got like snow leopards, lions, cheetahs. They're all different, and if they can stick to that, I'm happy.
And actually, just hearing you say that, like we say that the most recognizable feature of the most recognizable feature on your character that's easily customizable is your hair. And did I stick my foot in my mouth? I'm just gonna go on.
Somebody just said let's
Further the conversation.
Mr. Brad Power,
Oh,
please allow me to say welcome. We love puns.
it's fantastic.
Anyway, I was saying that one of the most easily recognizable, customizable features of our characters is normally our hair. And I was just thinking that actually, if you're a Karen with colors, you could probably recreate a lot more of customizable features without having to change the hair. Because you could see a character off in the distance that was obviously like a lion Karen and differentiate it from the tiger one standing next to it easily, simply because their fur patterns are different, and then like the leopard one next to that one and then the panther one, you'd just be like, those are four distinct people. I know who they are simply, standing way over here off in the distance. It's actually a very good point about the different colors. And I'm guessing that that's probably something that they're on top of already. Like they don't need to like ask the players what they think. They're like, yeah, we need Karen, and they need to be lions, tigers, leopards, and puma, and have those markers. We know the answer to that question.
Yeah.
So last thoughts on the concept art we've seen, and then we have one other topic that we can turn it over to. It's actually a pretty big one before we cut to break and then move to the after hours. So final thoughts on the concept art that we've seen.
It's good. I mean, it's concept art, so it's not. We don't know what the end is going to look like. So that's the whole definition of concept art. It's kind of just the concept. So. I would like to see more at SOE Live as we get closer to SOE Live, or at SOE Live.
Show us more.
Show us more. Show us all.
Show us
things.
the tail.
Show us.
Yeah.
Jeez.
All right, folks.
Oh boy.
All right. So our next little topic. If you watched the I think it was the Landmark Live, or maybe it was the workshop. I think it was the workshop. From this week, you might have noticed what we're going to talk about next, and that is the playable races. And at SOE Live last year, they confirmed 6 races. And they showed us them, not like the character models. We only saw the 2 character models, but we saw, of course, the concept art for the dwarves and the dark elves. But on land, on the workshop show, they announced that there is going to be 8, no more, no less. There shall be 8 playable races at launch. And in just a second, I'm going to pull up the list of what they are. But you guys all caught that, right? That's pretty big news.
Yeah, I did.
So, after Dark Elves, which we knew about, and Dwarves we knew about, and Humans we knew about, and what else were there? There's
Karen.
Oh, well, we had 2 different types of elves, so we count elves twice. 2 elves, 1 human, dwarves, the Karens, and then at SOE Live, they said ogres were one of the races, and then at the workshop on Wednesday, they said that we lost. Did we lose Kylest? Nope, she's just not moving. The ogres, and then the Ixar. So that gives us 7 races of the 8 playable races.
Yep, and I would love to see ogre. I would really. I mean, that was one of the main races that they kind of showed off.
Right, they said that ogres is going to be in there. The ogres got one of the e-novels specifically on them. It would be like, you don't just take them out now. You got to leave them in as a playable race, even though they didn't name them during the workshop.
Yeah.
So I'm going to assume that was just one that they overlooked that one, and they announced, Ixar is the one that they announced by mistake, or, they knew it. They just hadn't gotten around to telling us about it yet. So
probably.
But that does leave just 1 race remaining that we don't know about. So, what are your thoughts? Which one should it be? Which one is it like, oh my God, this one?
More likely it's to be one of the smaller races, like Gnome or Halfling, Ratonga, Froglock, one of those, I would suggest.
Most likely be Gnome, because they did mention Gnome in the lore, in the books. Passing, but it was mentioned.
But if they don't give Ratonga, then what's going to happen? And Domino's going to cry.
I don't know.
Get them later. Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah, and that's when they originally asked the question about what small race should they put in. It wasn't like an and or like we can put in this race or this race. It was like, well, no, it really just gives us an idea of in what order we should add races, which is like that's telling us that's the exception that proves the rule. That's telling us that that's one of the things they're planning on doing, and as adding races in over time. So we're going to have 8 at launch. I'm assuming that if gnomes don't make it in at launch, they'll come in later. The same with Ratonga, and they can actually that gives them the opportunity to even do maybe not an expansion. What do they call it? The rally calls that deal specifically with adding Ratonga to the game. A rally call where the combine races rescue the Ratonga, and all of a sudden now the Ratonga have integrated into the combine. Some storyline like that sounds like it would make a lot of sense, even if they're not there at launch.
Agreed. I don't know. Eurydites were never mentioned at all, and you would think since they were a main race in EverQuest 1, a main race in EverQuest 2, Eurydites would somehow make it in EverQuest Next, but Eurydites have not been mentioned. There's no word of them at all.
Not even in the lore.
Nothing.
Not in the ebooks that I've read, I haven't seen them.
No, I think if someone had to make the cut, I think Eurydites maybe are like, well, guys, they're out.
Yeah, they're out. I would say that. And unfortunately, because we know that the Fey races are one of the playable races in EQ2, but because they haven't been mentioned in the e-novel, and I know this is, Kyle's not going to want to hear this, but I'm afraid that the Fey are also one of those races that's like expansion later on down the road, not
I know.
launch.
Man, I'm getting called out so much in this chat. They're like, Eurydites were mentioned in the book. I don't remember reading it. And Tamlin's read all the lore up to this point?
I don't. I mean,
I'd have to go back. Listen. I don't have a perfect memory, so back. Hey, calm down. Maybe have a little sit down. Maybe drink some tea. I'm a human and I make mistakes.
Bad Viking calls me. It says lies. Hey, you know what? I'm not above beyond reproach. I can be wrong. All I ask is that if you've heard them mentioned in the e-novel, name the e-novel and let us know. Like, type in chat and let us discuss it. If they're there.
Yeah. Man, you guys are rough tonight.
I like how they're all just bullying you and
I know, it's just me. Like, let's do off with him. Like, Tobin, save me.
Nah, bro, you're on your own.
So, Faye, on the same. Okay, so we say Faye, definitely not mentioned. Probably, I don't remember. I don't know, but I'm assuming that they're out. Same with the Froglock, Ratonga. So what races are we saying are still in the mix? Which races? Gnome and Havling, we've mentioned, are still fighting for their chance to get into the game at launch. What about Trolls? We think that Trolls are still in the mix, fighting for their place as a playable race at launch.
Mm-hmm. I think so. I think we'll see Troll. I think just because Troll, it'd be one of those, like, you have Dark Elf and that's a little like kind of evil, not too sure. I think Troll would be right up there with them. Same with like Ogre. It's kind of like a good healthy mix where you kind of got the Care and the Door, the Human Elf. It's like, all right, those are kind of the good races, and then you'd have the Dark Elf, the Ogre, the Troll, and maybe one more just to kind of the Ixar. So that would be kind of like your evil type races. Not saying that there is like a divided, for sure line between good and evil. Just, I think that's what we'll kind of see starting. Those would be like the official 8 or 9 or whatever. So
the Trolls. See, I would say that they're one of the races that are on the outside looking in, and we've still got the gnomes sitting in there and the hobbits sitting in there. So I've got 2 other races that I'm throwing out there. If anybody else wants to jump in on Trolls before I move on to the next one that I can throw out. Okay, next one I'm going to throw out. Barbarians is a separate race from the humans.
Absolutely, yeah. They're much bigger. They're human, yes, but they're a bigger type of race, I guess you would say. They're up north. I know. What was it? Giants. There was like 2 different types of giants, so I guess you would kind of see that. I just not talk for the rest of the night, or else I'll just get more people. Like, listen, they're just like, hey. I just got a bunch of butt clenching nerds over in this chat room. I'm afraid. Listen, I say it. I have no shame. Ooh, we hate you.
All right.
I'm the one with the mic. What do they?
I think barbarians should be rolled into humans. Period. End of story. What else?
And Tobin, what are your thoughts?
Right, I'm a Scotsman, so you should probably say, "Oh, they're Kilts, so they're Scots." Shut up.
Hold on.
Wait, it's
Are we like
it's
saying
and
that separating humans from the barbarians is the same as separating like the English from the Scots, where the Scots from the barbarians?
Sounds about right, yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
so they're
right. Okay, I feel that there will be a separate race, but there'll be one of those ones that just aren't in there at launch. They might be in the world, but they're definitely not going to be playable. Just my opinion.
Yeah, I can see that too. That having the humans, the civilized humans being the playable race, and then having the barbarians as a recognized, they're not humans, they're different, but really they're just human NPCs that we run out into in the world. That kind of thought process leads me to the next one that I was going to throw out there, because the lore has set up that there is a distinct difference between the elves and the dark elves. Do you think we'll see that sort of differentiation between the elves and the wood elves, and having the wood elves, even if they're not available as a playable race at launch, do you think that we'll see them as a playable race down the road?
Maybe.
I would definitely say so.
Or Tobin will be unhappy.
Why would I be unhappy?
With chat real quick. Old man Skiles said that Archmage.
We just got told.
I know, our Archmage part, which was great. This is fine. It said the erudites may have had their feelings plain in the past. I doubt they'll help us now that. So with that one sentence, we can I don't want to say assume, but we can kind of think that the Erudites are not part of the Combine. They're separated, so they may not be at launch. I was kind of right in saying that. They may be something that we see in the future where they don't feel like, all right, we're out with this whole dragon ordeal. We're not. Listen, you guys got your own thing going on. We're out, and that's it. And then poof, boom, and then later on, through storyline and whatever, we may see the Erudites may say like, oh, there's like this big overworld enemy that we all need to face, and the Erudites are somehow in danger and they need our help, or vice versa. Now they'll so you don't know. We don't know. Listen, we're all guessing. We're all just throwing rocks out. Whatever lands on the target, we'll make.
Welcome to the EverCast show, where until the game is launched, this is what we can talk about. That, like, just throwing out ideas and speculating and having a good conversation, because, hey, we want to listen to you. We want to, get, inspire you to come up with new ideas that we haven't thought of yet, and then send those ideas on to SOE and be like, you know what? We had this great thought, and we think it's important for you to hear it too. And that's just, that's why I'm just throwing out all these ideas. That's why we all do this. I hope that you, when there is actual factual information, hopefully we'll be able to deliver that to you. But again, we know that there's going to be 6 playable races that they've mentioned in the last
so far,
workshop. We know that there was a 7th one that was mentioned from SOE Live last year. So we can talk about like, hey, what's this? What's the 8th one? They haven't told us yet.
Yeah. Well, I could say real quick, Franz Weezy said Morgard said humans left behind are probably the barbarians. And I could see that those would be the ones that went north, maybe to escape the dragons. They went, like, how far north would the dragons really go? So they probably went north where it's colder, where they think they could survive away from the dragons. I could see that, and I could see, like I said, I would see that maybe be part of a storyline where we have to go north and we fight barbarians. So we'll see.
Makes sense from a lore point of view, anyway.
It does make sense from lore,
and it makes it compelling from an overarching storytelling point of view when you're talking about an MMO, because you can launch the game and you can deliver the story content at the very beginning, and then when you're ready to bring in more expansion through like your rally calls and stuff like that, you can be like, okay, well, this is the rally call where we see the north, and now with that. With the expansion into the north, now we can bring these 1 or 2 other races, and the barbarians are one of the races that inhabit that area, so we're going to bring them into the game now as a playable race. Those are the opportunities that are perfect for that type of delivering a story and content, and allowing for them to get a playable game out at launch, and bring in new interesting things.
And that's. And we have to think that's probably the best way of delivering these characters into the game, is through story, is through maybe like helping them through a storyline and then unlocking the character. Like, they're not with us yet until the very end, and then when they're with us, then we can kind of create them. That'd be kind of interesting. That they're not like, we don't trust you yet, or maybe it's just faction based. It's like, well, we have the same goal, but we don't trust you. And then when you get enough faction based up with them, then it's like, all right, then you can unlock. Then bam, it unlocks the barbarian, and it unlocks the.
Oh, see, and that's something that could actually be incredibly compelling from a different point of view. Is that having the servers unlock the playable races at different times, simply because they've said that rallying calls are going to be server specific, and not all servers are going to complete the rallying calls the same way. And I can see that we're like, hey, if you're going to play a barbarian, you have to play on these servers because they got those rallying calls done, and these servers over here, they're not. So if you're going to play a barbarian, you play over on those servers.
And that's great. I divided players though.
Well, at the same time, though, it makes it compelling to be like, well, if you want to play a troll, you can't play on the one with the barbarians. You have to play on the one over there. I don't know. It could be interesting. I don't know if SOE wants to necessarily do that, but it could be.
Yeah, it would be interesting from a standpoint of how far, like, if I'm a lore nerd, how far in the story do I want to be? Do I want to be in the place where I still have a chance to do that storyline and unlock the barbarians on that server? Or do I want to be on the server that's gotten to that past that point and they're on a different part? Like, I guess it would also be based on where your friends are at too. But I guess if you're a new player coming in, how far ahead do you want to be? So it'd be kind of interesting to see like on their website, like have links to like what servers what and how far in the story they're at. which I think they have now for EQ2. I think they have certain servers you can kind of see like their progression through the storyline and where they're at. So
Yeah,
so if you want to do that,
you know what, we should go to our break since it's right around that time, and then come back and let's talk about that a little, because that's a really compelling thing. Like, do you want to see servers with different stories than other servers? And we're not talking not rule sets, different stories, like completely different. Like Norath over on this server is a completely different Norath with a different story than the one over here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put up our break video. Stick around. It's only a 5-minute break. When we come back, it'll be more of a free for all after hours. Final thoughts. Anybody?
I love everybody in the chat. Please don't hate me. I want to just bear hug the hell out of everybody. Love you. Not as much as I love Tobrin.
Yeah.
Tobrin, any final thoughts?
Tobrin, any final thoughts you want to throw out?
Concept art good. With dwarves bad. Done.
Oh.
Do I need to
Shots
ban
fired.
hammer him again?
I can mute him. All right. So who's gonna camp us out?
Tobrin.
I've
Because
already
he's
done
the
it.
guest.
I did it last week.
He did do it last time. So, because yeah,
Damn it, I forgot you were here last week because I wasn't.
yeah. So, Kai, would you like to do it since you weren't here last time? It's all you.
Camping in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hi, I'm Josh Augustine. I'm a designer on Landmark, and I've